We're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. This is Office Hours with Laravel. My name is Josh Cirre. I'm one of the developer relations engineers at Laravel. As people start to come in, we'll just be able to hang out together, be able to answer questions, talk about new Laravel Forge, Laravel VPS that came with the Laravel Forge launch, Laravel MCP. There's a couple new inertia updates that we can chat about, we can look at. There's some fun things. So as you're joining, and I'll give us a good 10 minutes as people kind of trickle in, especially with the live just coming up for everyone. But as you're joining, let me know where you're watching from, where you're joining from, and then also what time is it there for you. Super excited to have everyone here. I'm pumped for this new Laravel office hours. I try to do this at least once a month, but it's never like a set time. It just kind of depends on how things are going and what we have to chat about as well. But yeah, if you're joining, let me know where you're joining from, what time is it for you, and then maybe what is your current beverage of choice, I guess I should say. It depends on the time. So like it is 8 a.m. for me in Arizona in the States, and I have a Coke Zero, a cherry, Coke Zero cherry that I have with me right now. A Slawik from Poland, 1701. We're glad to have you here. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining. For those just getting in, this is Laravel Office Hours. We have a lot of things to talk about. We can chat about basically whatever you have questions about, or just things that you might be thinking through or have questions about for Laravel. A couple things that are kind of top of mind for me is Laravel new Forge was just released last week. We have Laravel VPS that we can chat about as well. We have Laravel MCP, the MCP package for Laravel, and so much more that we could talk about. There's a lot of inertia updates that we can chat through as well. Oscar, good morning. Good morning. What time is it for you, Oscar? Where you're watching from? Glad to have you here. I am going to, as you all are kind of joining in, again, thank you so much for being here. This is just my time to be able to hang out with you, be able to chat about new things, Laravel, but then also be able to talk through whatever you have questions about. So we call this office hour specifically so that you can bring any questions you might have. I can try my best to answer them. I am not positive that I have all of the answers for you, but we can either figure it out together. I can direct you to the best place that we can try to figure that answer together. And then also we can just chat about things that are up and coming within Laravel, or things that are new that you might not have heard of that I get to share a little bit with you. So this is kind of our one-on-one time, if you will, to be able to have some fun, but then also just be able to hang out together and answer questions about Laravel. So if you are joining, I'm going to go try to post to some socials real quick. But if you are joining, we'll get started here in a bit, just letting everyone kind of join in. If you have any questions, be sure to pop them in the chat. But if you're joining, where are you joining from? What time is it there for you? And then what's your current beverage of choice at that time that you have? So like, for example, I am joining from Arizona in the States. It is 8 a.m. my time, so 8:00, and I have a Coke Zero to wake me up. So I don't do coffee too much, but I have a cherry Coke Zero. Not sponsored, but the Laravel team loves Coke Zero. So as you guys are telling me who you are, where you're joining from, what time is it for you, and then what's your current beverage of choice, coffee, tea, maybe you're in the evening and you can have a after work Friday hours drink. Let me know what's up, and then we'll get started here with office hours. I'm gonna go to x.com and Twitter and kind of post that I am alive right now. Let's go ahead and see. Let's share this and say, answering questions and hanging out. Bam. Perfect. We'll post that. All right. And we'll go ahead and should be live here as well. And looks great. So yeah, let me take a look. So again, everyone, sorry, I was just kind of putting onto my own socials that we're live on the Laravel channel. But so glad to have everyone here. And let me take a look at the chat. So we have Bryce from Ireland. Glad to have you here this morning or this afternoon for you, 1600 hours. Oscar, you're from Colombia, 10:03 a.m. For some reason, I didn't know Colombia was so close to my time zone. So that's awesome. Glad to have you here. Oak, question. When is Reverb coming to Laravel Cloud? There is no set time as of right now, but it is soon. I actually don't think we have a set time to release it just yet, but all I know is that it is something that the team is still working on, making sure everything's out. It is in kind of preview release that I've been able to play around with, and even some of my applications that I kind of have gotten to build to demo to the community. Some of them use Reverb on Laravel Cloud, so I'm excited for it when it comes out fully, but there's no set release for it just yet that I know of right now. So yeah, keep staying tuned to what the Laravel team is doing, and I'm sure that when that time comes, I'm guessing it will be relatively soon. We'll be able to probably have some videos about it, some socials about it, some blogs about it that you definitely will be able to know that it is here. And of course, you probably would see it in your cloud account as well. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone joining. Again, what time is it for you? Where are you joining from? If you have any questions, you can throw them in, but this is our time, my time with you in the Laravel community. My name is Josh Cirre. I'm a developer relations engineer here at Laravel. I make videos and I get to hang out with you all. And yeah, we're just being able to answer any questions. This is called Laravel Office Hours for a reason. One, be able to get to hang out with you, the community, but then two, be able to answer any questions that you might have. There's a lot of things that came out in the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, past month since we got to do office hours last. New Forge just released. That includes Laravel VPS. That includes a couple other things that were updates to Laravel Forge, but then also, and I just did a Ask Me Anything stream with James Brooks on this past Monday. It seems so long ago, but it was just Monday. And then there's also some other things outside of the Forge world that kind of came out the past couple of weeks that I'm excited that you might have questions about, that we can dig into together. Laravel MCP, the MCP package and server that come with Laravel or that are a part of the Laravel ecosystem, as well as maybe inertia updates that I'm excited about to talk to too. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from. Okay, D Garbs, good morning. Dominic, greetings from Poland. Glad to have you here. Hare, greetings from Iran. Glad to have you here as well. Hey there, my name is Hugo. Is there any showcase we love to see coding, not just talking? So we could probably jump into some code, like if we needed to, if we want to. Office hours isn't necessarily meant to talk about too much code. Like it's not a code with me kind of stream. There's some great videos on the Laravel channel that might be of use to you. And if you're watching this and you like the content on the Laravel channel, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out myself. It helps out our team to know that we're on the right track. And then also be sure to watch any of the videos that are also on Laravel's YouTube channel, but also we have our new laravel.com/learn, which is a couple of courses, one about PHP and then one about the boot camp, getting started with Laravel. And that has a lot of coding. So maybe not fully for this office hours, but if there's a question that we can jump into some code, talk about inertia or Laravel's MCP package, we can definitely do that. Oscar, we have a community here in Latino America. We are telling people how awesome Laravel is. That is crazy awesome. I love it. That's awesome. Oscar, keep doing that. And let us know. I don't know if you've been in touch with the meetup team, but if you go to meetups.laravel.com, I believe that's the link or the URL. Let us know that you're having a meetup. We always like to know the people who are having meetups so that we can help them in whatever way we can. Lisbon, 1604 here. Checking in from Connecticut, says D Garbs. Glad to have you here. Janos, hello from Budapest, Hungary's 1700 hours. And I apologize if I say anyone's name incorrectly. Again, my name is Josh Cirre. It's okay if you pronounce my last name incorrectly. That is, I'm used to it, but it's like the iPhone, pronounced like the iPhone. Developer relations engineer here at Laravel, and this is office hours. Let us know where you're joining from. What time is it from you? And then what's your current beverage of choice right now in whatever time zone you're in. So again, I'm from Arizona in the States and not sponsored, but this is Coke Zero Cherry. The Laravel team loves good Coke Zero. I only have the cherry option right now, but I'm so glad to be able to join. And this is 8 a.m. my time, or 8:11 a.m. my time. Denmark, 1700 hours. Victor from Puerto Rico. I love when so many people get to join from all over. Another question from Oscar. Again, I'll try to get to everyone's questions or just be able to hang out with you. So if you're here just to hang out, that's awesome. I love it. You can chat and we can talk about whatever comes up specifically about Laravel and Laravel Forge, Laravel VPS, Laravel MCP, Inertia. VeepConf is going on right now. I know one of our Laravel team members, Joe Tannenbaum, just did a talk on VeepConf or at VeepConf about Wayfinder and some updates within Laravel, or just like the future of Wayfinder within Laravel Inertia. I was excited to kind of watch a little bit of that. I haven't gotten the time to, since I woke up, watch the whole thing, but there's some awesome things to talk about, and that's why I'm here with you, the community, wanting to be able to hang out, get to have some time together to be able to chat and answer your questions about Laravel and its ecosystem as well. So Oscar says, how can we manage hate against PHP? It's one of those things, Oscar, and we were even talking about this within the AMA with James this past Monday, is there's this shift usually when people don't necessarily realize the breadth, the width of the full web and how much it actually runs on PHP. So I think it's less about kind of combating that and more about trying to tell or show people and have them be observant for what PHP actually is. In that case, modern PHP. So I think most of the hate, if you will, or just the dislike, bad distaste in someone's mouth about PHP usually is something like PHP 5.4 or even less, even an older version of PHP. And so it's more about tempering someone's understanding of what is actually possible within PHP. And the cool thing is, and James chatted about this on the Monday AMA, is that PHP, like Laravel Forge, runs on Laravel, and also it runs on Laravel Forge. So it's one of those things that it scales pretty well to be able to run on Laravel Forge. And there's so many amazing companies that are running on Laravel, that are running on PHP as well. But yeah, it's more about tempering someone's understanding of what PHP and modern PHP actually looks like, I think. Sebastian, hi from Germany at 5 p.m. Robert from the Netherlands, it's 17:07 here, beer o'clock. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that I can be a part of your Friday evening, especially with a beer. Like, that's the perfect opportunity, I guess, within this office hours to be able to chat with you, hang out, you ask me questions, and we can have some fun. 5:07 p.m. from Barcelona. I'm having my Coke Zero at 8 a.m. This is my coffee, and the Laravel team loves a good Coke Zero. I don't know how many too many Laravel employees that are fans of Coke Zero Cherry, but it's one of those things where a Coke Zero is a Coke Zero, you know. Question from Robert: where to start with Laravel MCP to learn more about it? Great question. Let me actually go ahead and share my screen. I think that would be good. Let me pull this up here. I'm going to share my entire screen. I think we're good there. All right. Let's go ahead and pull this up so we can go into this screen mode here. And then I will add it. All right. Can everyone see that here? Perfect. So this is Laravel MCP. It is a package to be able to create MCP servers within your Laravel application. Now, there's a couple cool things that I want to point out, and this is a very brief level overview, and this is just to kind of give you a head start into maybe building or figuring this out for yourself, in the sense of this is just a direction, I guess, to the right place to kind of learn more about Laravel MCP. So MCP is a package. Let's say you had a application. Let's say it is a Twitter clone. So within the Laravel Learn, we built chirper.laravel.cloud. Well, we built Chirper within our own. Laravel application. This is for the bootcamp. And let's say you had an application like this, but you wanted people to be able to post or edit or delete their own chirps from their command line. Okay, well, you could do that, and you can make your own SSH server to be able to do that, and just like an API. But then what if you wanted to connect to LLMs and say, hey, maybe your LLM, you have ChatGPT connected to Twitter, you have it connected to Chirper, you have it connected to LinkedIn. So you say, hey, let all my socials know that I am live right now on YouTube or on all platforms, whatever that might be. Instead of having to, within your Chirper application, within the application that you built within Laravel, instead of having to write an API for that, now instead you use MCP. And this is just specifically to have that standard model context provider standard for AI, for LLMs to interact with your application. So AIs usually use three things. They use tools, they use prompts, and they use resources. And what Laravel MCP package allows you to do is once you require it, once you create it, you create a server that then says, okay, when I am setting this up within the web server, this is like within your routes, you set up a new web server so that when you deploy it, your LLM would then point to your server /MCP / whatever you want your route to be. And now that LLM has access to everything that this MCP package provides. It has access to easily add tools, resources, or prompts. And usually what that means, then an LLM is saying, okay, I know that I can post to Chirper on your behalf. I know that I can read all chirps. And now this is just giving you an easy way to create all those things that an LLM needs. Another thing that is interesting is you can go to lockit.laravel.cloud. I'll go ahead and paste this in the chat as well. So lockit.laravel.cloud. This is a demo application built on Laravel MCP that the Laravel AI team, Ashley Hindle and Nuno Maduro, they created in order to show off what Laravel MCP can do. This is a full-fledged application where you can post your own links to say, hey, here's me. I am live. So maybe I post like this live link right here saying like, hey, I'm live right now talking about MCP. And when you share specific links on Lockit MCP, of course, this is your own links. I have my own account. Well, Lockit MCP allows you, because it is built on Laravel MCP server, allows you to have these tools, these resources, and these prompts available to your LLM. So if I was to add this to my Claude code with this one link, again, this is what you kind of would set up within your application with that MCP package. All of a sudden now your LLMs get access to get recent links, to get recent statuses, to get trending links, to add a link, and also to summarize a link. It has access to these things that all LLMs need. It is a standard created by LLM providers like OpenAI, like Claude. It was initially created by Anthropic, and now OpenAI is also using MCP standards as well. But yeah, in a nutshell, it allows you to be able to have the ability to interact with your application using standards that LLMs kind of prefer. So yeah, great question. I'll go ahead and jump back here and we'll remove my screen there. Perfect. Awesome. So let's go ahead and see. Lauren, hello from Hungary. Glad to have you here. Oscar, how can we reach more people to use Laravel? I think it's mostly just continuing to do what you do and continuing to build and continuing to ship. Usually, then people are going to take notice. The people who build, the people who ship are the ones that are going to be leading the charge in what kind of tools you are using because you're getting things done. I think that's the best way to do it. Is there a plan to include Spotsy, Passkey, and starter kits? I don't believe so. I don't know that. I don't work on the starter kits team, but as of what I do know within starter kits, I know that this the package itself is not any plan to be in starter kits. I know that a passkey option might be a great option within starter kits. I don't know if that's out of the scope of what a starter kit usually might entail. For example, within Laravel starter kits, we do have a workOS option, and I know that this might be controversial. We do have a workOS option that allows you to have passkeys, and so that is an easy way to get up and running. So it might be out of scope of like these standard starter kits, but yeah, not that I know of right now. Echo, hello from Indonesia. Glad to have you here. What time is it for you? And what's your current beverage of choice? Melville, 1410 or 1610 in Edinburgh. I'm reading it as like 410 and I said 1610, but glad to have you here, Melville. Again, I apologize anyone if I say your name incorrectly. Again, those who are just joining, my name is Josh Cirre. I'm one of the developer relations engineers here at Laravel, and this is our time, my time specifically, to be able to chat with you, to hang out with the community, and also just to talk about any new things that are coming up within Laravel. Laravel Forge just relaunched. We have Laravel VPS that comes along with that, as well as a couple of other features. We have Laravel MCP package we talked a little bit about, and there's some updates within Inertia too that I'd love to hang out or chat about within any questions that you might have. If you're watching, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Feel free to like and subscribe on our channel. It helps me, it helps us, helps our team to be able to understand, okay, are we on the right track within specific content as well? I love doing this with you all. Codito, Cesar from Mexico. Okay, so your name is Cesar. Sorry. I'm Cesar from Mexico. 10:11 a.m. Carlos, I love Laravel. Hope for more content in Spanish for Latin America. That would be awesome. I know that the dubbing content on YouTube is not good, and so I know that I can't specifically help with that. I can read Spanish okay, but I cannot talk. I cannot speak it, so I apologize. So that's not going to be me yet, but maybe soon. I know that like a long-term goal of Laravel is similar to how kind of Mr. Beast does. He has people who are skilled in the language be able to dub over videos, and that one might be a great option. Codebender, hey, again, I'm from Morocco, and in Morocco, there is a very big community for Laravel. We love to have something like AR Laracon for all Arab developers. Codebender, awesome. I'm glad. If there is a meetup that I kind of said this a little bit earlier for those who are just joining, if you have a meetup that you are currently running, we like to know about it, like how many Laravel developers are joining your meetup. And so I believe there's information to contact us at meetups.laravel.com. But we just like to know who is hanging out and having meetups within their own communities across the world. It's something that is valuable for us to know, and that way we can help as best as we can as well. Eco, Indonesia, 2212. Wow. Well, thank you for staying up so late on your Friday evening. Hello, Minman. Glad to have you here. Can you give the TLDR on VPS, says Emmett. Emmett, glad to have you here. TLDR on VPS. I can do that. Let me actually plop open my screen as well. I can show off this right here. So we have Laravel Forge. Laravel Forge is an option for you to bring your own servers. And server providers, I should say. So Forge does have a subscription that you pay for Forge as a service. And then you have the ability to add new servers based off of any server provider that you can think of. So if I was to create a new server, I have the option of, I have a DigitalOcean account set up for this. I have a Hetzner account set up for this, or any provider that I might have, Vultr, Akamai, AWS, and DigitalOcean AWS. But Now with the new Laravel Forge comes Laravel VPS, which is what Emmett's question is. Laravel VPS, in a nutshell, is a quick, easy, provisioned, managed provision server in the sense that it is not part of your, let's say it's not part of your DigitalOcean account. It is not part of your Hetzner account. It is something that we spin up in partnership with DigitalOcean to be able to say, hey, here is a new Laravel VPS instance for you. And because of all the, the complexity that it has, and James kind of talked about this when building new Laravel Forge, because of all the complexities there are when spinning up a new server, this just makes it effortlessly and easy to do it quickly. So I can do this right now. I'll do it with you all watching, so that way there is a couple of videos on the YouTube channel talking about, hey, here's what Laravel VPS is, here's how fast it is to get up and running with it. But let's generate a new name. Actually, we'll just say, we'll say, hey, YouTube. And this is a Laravel VPS instance. If I click continue, I have the app option. Again, since this is partnered with DigitalOcean, we have the option of being able to say, where does this actually locate? I am closest to San Francisco, so I'm going to say San Francisco for me. And then I am going to say that this is a full app server. So that spins up a application as well as a database instance and anything that you might need. Of course, you can use a web server, load balancer, database server to expand or to scale your applications, existing applications, to add them to this. But so I have an app server. Let's just say it's a small, and then here's where the pricing comes in. So Laravel VPS, again, in a nutshell, is specifically a server that Laravel spins up, that Laravel manages in the sense that it is paid by Laravel and then you pay Laravel, for example. And this server can come in different sizes, $5 a month. So I know that I am paying Laravel Forge, I'm paying my Laravel Forge subscription. But instead of, if I was using a specific server provider like DigitalOcean or Hetzner, I would pay them. I am now just going to pay Laravel Forge an additional $5 a month to be able to have this VPS instance. So if I create server, what this is going to do is spin it up, and pretty quickly. You're not going to be able to connect to this because as soon as okay, it's connected, it's live. I'm going to delete this. So because I know the YouTube and internet world, you're probably already trying to break my server and I don't have anything on it. So too bad. I'm just going to delete it anyways. But yeah, the instance of Laravel VPS then says, hey, what you have when you create this new VPS instance is then a full server. So in the same sense of here, but then I would have the option of also having a terminal, which is something that is specific for Laravel VPS, as well as, I think that's the only thing that I can think of that is VPS specific. But yeah, incredibly easy to spin up, incredibly fast to spin up. And then that just gives you the option to be able to create any new sites. I know people who have 5 to 10 sites on one $5 VPS instance, for example. So yeah, it is fantastic. And it's one of my favorite new features of Laravel Forge as well. Awesome. Let's go ahead and see. Echo from Indonesia, 1012. Ludovic, hello, buddy. I hope you're doing good. An important question here. When will you record something about Zap? Love your content personally. Ludovic, glad to have you here. I still need to check out Zap. I have not been able to do it myself just yet. So I apologize on that. I have not been able to check it out. Echo, will Laravel use Eloquent AI? Eloquent AI. I don't necessarily know what that means. You can let me know what you mean by that specifically. So Eloquent, it would be Laravel's, and maybe there's a different AI that I don't know of that's called Eloquent, but Laravel's Eloquent would be how it interacts. It's ORM, how it interacts with the database. And you can use AI within Eloquent, within Laravel Boost, for example, or AI can then use Eloquent easily. So that might be the answer that you're thinking of. David, 414 from Nigeria, and Ludovic from Normandy, obviously. Helio from Mozambique, 1714. Glad to have you here. Again, those all joining, my name is Josh Cirre, Developer Relations Engineer here at Laravel. Office hours is the time for me to answer your questions, hang out with you, the community, talk with you. Where are you joining from? What time is it? What's your beverage of choice? I got a Coke Zero Cherry here right now, and I'm in Arizona in the States, and it is 8:30 a.m. my time, but we get a couple hours just to be able to chat, hang out, answer your questions, as well as maybe talk through things that you might not have heard about within the Laravel world. So most recently, top of mind, new Forge just released last week. I had an AMA with James on this channel on Monday, talking through some questions about Laravel Forge, and that's a treasure trove of information if you are looking for more in-depth about how Forge was built, what are some of the decisions that James and the team had to come up with, and then also we're chatting about anything else that you have top of mind. Maybe you have questions about Laravel. I can't promise that I know all the answers. I don't know much, but I can do my best to answer. We're talking about Laravel VPS, Laravel MCP. We already kind of talked about those a little bit. I can always share more, but then also there might be new things that you might ask questions about top of mind. I know Joe Tannenbaum is at VeetConf, just did a talk a few hours ago at VeetConf about Wayfinder, and there's some amazing inertia updates that I love to talk about as well. So glad to have everyone here. So glad that you're here. I love being able to chat with the Laravel community. Liam, Cherry Coke is great. It is great. I'm going to take another sip because I just talked a lot and I talk fast most of the time. Surprisingly enough, if you have ever met with me in person, maybe at like a meetup or Laracon or something like that, I don't talk that fast. I'm just really excited when I'm talking to you all here on the channel. Awesome. Carlos, I love Laravel. Hope for more content in Spanish for Latin America. I love that. Like I said before, like it'd be awesome to be able to have dubbed content that is actually from Spanish speakers. I'm excited for that. AI just isn't quite there yet from what I have seen. Ashley, Laravel MCP docs are great. Locket has good examples too. Yes, Ashley here, for those who don't know, and I'm a little bit behind. I'm about 15 minutes behind in the chat, so I apologize with that. I'm going to try to catch up as quick as I can. But Ashley was one of the creators of Laravel MCP, and so Ashley knows more about Laravel MCP than I do. So if you have questions that you haven't already gotten answered because I haven't caught up, Ashley is a great resource. And that Laravel MCP Locket application that I just talked about, it was built by Ashley Hindle and the team. Pepsi Max Cherry is the future. I don't know if you can say that as a Laravel employee. I don't know. Maybe might have a Slack message later on. I have never had Pepsi Max. I don't think so. I've had the new Pepsi Zeros. And I'm not a huge fan. And maybe just because I'm used to Coke Zero, but yeah, I'm not a fan. Rosto from Cameroon, glad to have you here. MCP is basically an API, so a little bit. Yes, in a sense, I would say, and again, this is probably more my own personal opinion than like, no one really knows anything right now because AI changes so frequently. But yeah, MCP is an API that is specifically built for LLMs to be able to use. So it has all the things that LLMs might need and just a standardized way for them to access those things like tools, resources, or prompts. Robert, thank you. I'm glad. Oscar, yesterday we saw the new two-factor authentication, which is awesome. Yes, that's another great addition to the starter kit. So one of the starter kit questions was about passkeys specifically, but yes, two-factor authentication is now in all of the starter kits, both for Livewire and all of Inertia ones, so React and Vue. And it is a great way to, once you get up and running, now your application has two-factor authentication built in. It is fantastic. It's easy. And if all you're looking for is how was this implemented, it's also a great way to dig into the starter kit code to say, okay, how was this implemented specifically for Inertia within React? How was this implemented specifically for Livewire? That in itself is a great resource too. That's one of my favorite resources to learn how to do something, is like with how I learned how to get up and running with Laravel MCP was Laravel Locket. So applications like that are a great resource to start. Abdullah's reposted the stream. Thank you so much, Abdullah's. Thank you so much for reposting the stream. Laircio. I apologize. I cannot say your name. I apologize for that. Hello from Brazil. Laircio. Agus, hi Josh. Is there any filament MCP? So you could use MCP. There's no real reason, I guess, to use filament within an MCP because it is the standard for LLMs to connect to. But you could have an application that uses filament on your front end, and then it can still use those actions that you might be calling from your filament actions. You could still use those resources that you're calling from a filament resource in your MCP's actions, resources, and prompts, for example. So yes, you can definitely use it with filament. It's just not going to be something that is tied in directly with an MCP, for example. Say my name. I tried, Laricio. I tried to say your name, so I apologize if I completely butchered it. Laricio is what that'll be my last and final pronunciation attempt. Ebenezer, 324 from Ghana. Glad to have you here. 324 a.m. Well, I appreciate you being able to hang out and stay up so late. If it's 3:24 p.m., I guess that's a little bit better. But Ghana, I would imagine. Let's go ahead and see. Ghana time. Okay, 3:34 p.m. Okay, so not that is not what I initially thought, but I'm still glad that you're here. I would love to use SSH terminal, etc. through Laravel VPS, but I think the VPS servers are a bit too expensive in comparison to example Hetzner Cloud. Okay, yeah, so this is an example of when you do spin up a Laravel VPS instance, you have access to SSH through terminal and also an integrated online instance of the terminal, which also allows access for kind of like a multiplayer terminal instance. So that way, if your team is building within a specific application, you can see what that team is doing in that own terminal instance. And that is specifically for Laravel VPS at this point in time. And that could be possible down the future. We talked to James, the lead engineer of the Forge and Core Services team on Monday. It's possible that terminal instance could be brought to other server providers in the future. It's not something that they are working on currently, is what James had kind of mentioned. But yeah, so Laravel VPS is going to be that set price that is within that account to be able to spin up those servers. And so if Hetzner is a great option, then use Hetzner through Laravel Forge. It's still great. And maybe in the future, there's some of those things that are VPS specific right now could also be for those servers in the future as well. Zishan from Pakistan, glad to have you here. I really didn't get the difference between the VPS and Forge. Can you say something about Laravel Cloud versus Forge? I'm an exaggeration. Let me know if this is... I'll give a kind of like a brief one. If you might not have been here when I was talking through the VPS specific instance. So the difference is that VPS is just a provisioned, so a virtual private server. Is that right? Now I'm second guessing myself. So VPS is an instance that is provisioned within Laravel Forge, a server instance that is provisioned within Laravel Forge. It is through our partnership within DigitalOcean, it allows you to create that server quickly. Because of the kind of complexities that come with connecting accounts, it just allows you to build it fast, and also for us to spin it up with ways that we can modify it in the sense of being able to be optimized for building Laravel applications or just building applications in general. You can host Nux sites, you can host Next.js sites on a Laravel Forge server or VPS instance. So the difference between VPS and Forge is there's not really too much. Instead of spinning up a server through Hetzner, DigitalOcean, Akamai, or AWS that you would spin up on Laravel Forge, instead now you have the option of using Laravel's VPS instance, which is its own managed instance in the sense that it is paid for by Laravel Forge. You pay Laravel Forge for that VPS instance, and then you can create your own sites on it just like you would within a Hetzner instance or within a DigitalOcean instance. The value is that it is spun up quickly, and the value is that then you can connect to it effortlessly and quickly without having to kind of have a third-party provider. So if you are absolutely new to Forge and you don't have a server provider that you already know and pay for. You don't have a DigitalOcean, you don't have a you don't have an Akamai or an AWS or Hetzner. You don't have any of those things, and you are wanting to build within Laravel for new people, especially, and just any existing people within Laravel Forge that don't prefer to have additional providers that they are managing their servers through. Well, you can just create an account on Laravel Forge and then automatically have the ability to spin up a server. And so that's what VPS is, giving you as many or cutting down as many obstructions to be able to create a server within Laravel Forge. And then something between Laravel Cloud versus Forge, it just all comes to preference. Preference and what your application and your users need. So for example, Laravel Cloud does a fantastic job at showing you, hey, here is everything that your server is doing. Here's the scalability options. Let's say you're running a worker server. Well, you need to scale up that worker server to 12 instances, and it needs to be a specific size. Well, that can be done, I guess, through Laravel Forge, but it is going to be a little bit of custom work on you to be able to spin things up, spin things down using Laravel Forge's API. Laravel Cloud allows you that scalability effortlessly, and then Laravel Cloud is managed. So if something goes wrong within your Laravel Forge server, whether that is their Laravel VPS or a server provided by another resource provider, then you're going to have to manage it yourself. If something goes down, it's probably something that you have to figure out and get back up and running. So cloud is going to be managed and scalable. Forge is going to be customizable and specifically tuned to your needs. Saram, 1830 from Ethiopia. Glad to have you here. Let's go ahead. Ashley, don't tell Taylor about my Pepsi Max cherry obsession, Josh. I think you just told the whole world. We'll see. So I won't let it leak. It will stay right here in this YouTube live. Echo leaks about Laravel 13. I don't. The cool thing is I do my best as a developer relations engineer. I do my best to not know too much about what isn't released just yet, and that's purposefully intentional on my part, because I don't want to talk about something or even accidentally mention something or code with something that I know hasn't even been thought about being released just yet. So I purposely try to stay in, hey, I don't use this until it's released to you, to the public. There are a few things that I just naturally can or should use, of course, like as we're building them, Laravel Forge VPS, I was already using it before it was public. Of course, there's things within cloud that I am already using, but things within like Laravel 13, for example, or anything open source, generally I don't use until you all use it as well. So I'm right in the same boat. I might just have a little bit of foreknowledge of what happens. But for example, Laravel 13, yeah, no leaks, no leaks on my end. Oscar, we go live every day at 5 p.m. to talk about software and Laravel in Spanish. That's awesome. That's awesome. You should let us know what that channel is. Is it right at your channel as well? It's always awesome especially if you are a Spanish speaker, check out Oscar as well. Tef, hello from Haiti. Glad to have you here. Wilmer on LinkedIn. Hello, glad to have you here as well. Again, those just joining, it looks like I'm only about 10 minutes behind on the chat as well, so I apologize if I missed anything urgent, but my name is Josh Cirre. I'm a developer relations engineer here at Laravel, and this is Office Hours. This is a chance for me to be able to talk to you, the community, hang out with you, answer your questions that you might have. If I can show something like we just showed Laravel Forge, VPS, we showed a little bit about Laravel MCP, but then also just answer your questions about things that are in the Laravel ecosystem in general, or specifically from the Laravel team. Again, I might not know all the answers, but I'm glad to be able to chat with you and hang out with you during that time. And I can try my best to answer them as well. This is my time to be able to get to talk to you. This is be able to hang out with you, and also just to have this time of community to say, hey, here's what Laravel is, here's what we offer, but then also here's some cool things that you might not have heard of within Laravel Forge. And if you're just here to hang out, to chat, I appreciate you. If you're here to answer questions because you don't know something, that's great. I appreciate you as well, wherever you're joining from. I'm joining from Arizona in the States. It is 6:44 a.m. my time, so it's still early in the morning. Instead of coffee, I have a Coke Zero cherry, but I'm so glad to be able to hang out with you all. Awesome. Shabir, how do vector databases work within Laravel, and which is the best way to use a vector database? The first thing I would say is probably Postgres. Specifically, Postgres has a vector extension. This extension is already enabled. Let's say if you're using Laravel Cloud, for example, we have a Laravel Postgres scalable Postgres option within Laravel Cloud as a database option. And Postgres has a PG vector plugin that is automatically enabled within Laravel Cloud. But if you use any kind of Postgres instance, let's say you have one spun up through Laravel Forge, you can enable this PG vector plugin. And then you can use Postgres as a vector database. Now, there's a ton of great options within the Laravel ecosystem as well. Things like TypeSense or things like Algolia. Those are in itself full search databases in the sense that they can also be used as vector databases as well. So I know even this is something that has been on Taylor's mind, Taylor Otwell. He's been tweeting a little bit about how he has been using full text search within the native database drivers like MySQL and Postgres within Laravel, and also trying to just improve that for everyone, for the community. And so there might be some updates along the way. Henry from Nigeria, glad to have you here. To say my name, you are Heisenberg. Yeah, I don't look like Heisenberg yet. Maybe once my hair falls out. A lot of people think I am bald because I wear a hat. It's mostly just because here's the reason. This is a complete tangent, but because we're hanging out, me and you, the community. This is the reason why I wear hats. Most people think I just wear it because like I like how it looks. I guess I guess I do in a little bit. But if I am making a video and I need to cut and then do the video again, it is 10 times easier to wear a hat so that the video doesn't look like it was cut in a specific spot. If I didn't wear a hat and all of a sudden my hair like fell out of place like that, then all of a sudden, like, oh, this looks weird. It falls out of place and then it goes back up. Within a hat, I don't have to worry about that. Just a small little tip. Andrew from Jamaica, glad to have you here. Hello from Kenya. Do you have some apps you have built recently public on GitHub? I don't know if I mean, I do, I guess like the most recent one, and this is, I guess the one from the Laravel perspective is if you go to, and I'll go ahead and share my screen again real quick. So if you go to chirper.laravel.cloud, this is the app that we built on learn.laravel.com or laravel.com/learn. This Getting Started with Laravel is a boot camp specifically that I created with the Laravel team to be able to talk about, okay, how can you start to learn Laravel from nothing to actually build a full app? And so this code is on GitHub. Laravel/bootcamp is that provider. And this allows you to be able to say, hey, here is a new application, no Livewire, no inertia. It is just Laravel Blade so that you can build an app from nothing. My GitHub is github.com/Josh Cirre. Anything that I usually do within Laravel or just trying to spin up new demo projects, usually that's on GitHub. There's nothing of note that comes to mind from my own personal GitHub though, but Chirper is a great one to be able to learn from. And the design team, this was not me coming up with the design. The design team did a great job of being like, hey, here's an easy way to get everything that I built looking nice. So it looks nice, doesn't it? Awesome. Let's go back here. Perfect. Yeah, Ashley agrees with me. There we go. I love it. Thank you, Ashley. Postgres and PG Vector. Great way to get started. That was the first way I got started with AI and vector databases was Postgres and PG Vector, specifically within a Laravel application. Was my first SaaS application that I built within Laravel about 3 years ago. and I used Postgres and PG Vector because I am someone who is cheap in the sense that I don't have a lot of money to just throw at things. And every vector database, at least 3 years ago, was insanely expensive if you just wanted a vector database. So I just like, hey, Postgres is super cheap. Postgres and PG Vector it is. Cherry, I really liked Wayfinder. Awesome. I know Joe Tannenbaum just talked about it on stage at VConf as well, and I'm excited for how this progresses in the sense that we might see new Wayfinder updates in the upcoming months, weeks. I don't necessarily know, but I'm excited for what was announced at Laracon US, and I'm excited for what the team in the open source team is doing with Wayfinder. It's incredible to be able to say that we have and are going to have even more of an option of what it looks like to kind of combine those two worlds of having a JavaScript front end within Inertia, within React, Vue, Svelte, and then also have this back end that it can be more tightly knit to know, hey, we know exactly what you are expecting within things like types, for example. Saddam from India, glad to have you here. Laravel never disappoints. Cherry, glad to have. I love that. I love that outlook. Again, everyone just joining, feel free to like and subscribe. That helps us know that we are creating the right content. Also, that helps us spread the word even more in the sense of the more likes, the more subscribes that we can have, allows us to build the content to reach more people as well. So glad to have you all here, and I just get this opportunity to be able to hang out with you, the community, and chat about any questions that you might have. Laravel Forge, Laravel MCP, VPS, Laravel Inertia, whatever might be on top of mind. Remy from Reunion Island, glad to have you here. I don't know where that is, but it sounds fantastic. Shabir, love from Ashley Hindle, fantastic. Yep, it is tailored for our community. I don't necessarily know. I might have missed something. I apologize. I'm still a little bit behind on chat. I am catching up as quickly as possible. But if you are still here and I haven't answered your question, I appreciate you being here. I will catch up as soon as I can. Fashola, hello from Nigeria. Elliston, stream from Laravel. Yes, this is the Laravel channel, Laravel stream. My name is Josh Cirre, and I'm glad to be here with you all. James from Southern Idaho. There you go. Southern Idaho. Let me think. I don't know if I know too many people from Southern Idaho. What would you, so like, I know that I could be blowing my American geographics right now, but I believe Boise is northeast Idaho. So what is a Southern Idaho state, or what is close to Southern Idaho? Do you work virtual? Do you have an office? What about this topic in USA? So the whole Laravel team is virtual in the sense that there is no Laravel office. Everyone is distributed across the world. We have a lot of Laravel employees that work everywhere. I work in my home. This is my home office. So I guess I do have an office in the sense that I have a room that I walk into my home. I set up here to do my work or to make videos, live stream. I have another desk that I sit at that's just off camera right here. But yeah, this office that I have the ability to have like different cameras that I can look through and talk through and that kind of thing. But the ability is to be able to chat with you, the team, and so, or you, the community. And so I have the option here within Laravel to be able to work from wherever I want. So I work specifically within my own home in Arizona in the US. And then, yeah, it's been awesome to be able to say the number of people who kind of work all around the world. So there's generally someone up and working within the Laravel team at all points in time. Do you know of any open source Laravel SaaS examples one can skim to learn about real life solutions and best practices? There's probably a few that I might be misremembering or misthinking of. Let's go ahead and see. I'm trying to think of a couple. And if you are in the chat and have an answer to this specific question that you can think of, be sure to let me know. I would, in terms of like a specific SaaS example, I don't necessarily know. Anything that is on the Laravel repos is obviously a great solution, mostly because it is, hey, these are built specifically, especially for things that are maybe packages or things that are kind of internal or Laravel centric tooling built by the Laravel team is a great option. I can't necessarily think of specific open source Laravel SaaS. I know that they are out there, they exist. There's just not one that is coming to top of mind that is up to date and current specifically. But I would say a lot of the Laravel internal code of the framework is a great option to kind of look through, to scan through specifically for best practices as well. I have lots of trainees building Laravel projects. However, I would love to have a free hosting where they can deploy their project like Vercel and Netlify. I would say currently right now, and I know that this is not absolutely free, like Laravel Cloud is probably going to be the best option. The starter is a pay-as-you-go plan, so you do have to enter a credit card, but you can get a application, Laravel application up and running for a couple of US dollars a month, and that would do a lot of hosting because it does a scale to 0 by default. So if you do not have any hibernation by default, I should say. So if you do not have any traffic, it is automatically going to scale down. That is what we have currently, David. Now work with Postgres before MySQL. Elliston, great. I love it. Good thing is Laravel works with everything. So that's, I know that MySQL is coming out with a version of like their version of Vector plugin or instance. I don't know when that is the case just yet. Even easier if you have no hair to go wrong during video takes. Ashley is referring to when I said the reason why I wear a hat. But yeah, Ashley doesn't have to worry about that problem. So I am envious of you, Ashley. Not really, because I've gotten used to seeing myself with a hat, similar to glasses. Like if I don't have glasses, it feels weird to me. I can't see you anyways, but I know that I look weird without glasses, at least in my mind. So it's funny how that happens. Is Laravel Reverb scalable, or would you recommend using another solution? I think it's incredibly scalable. Again, it's one of those things where Laravel Cloud is running on Laravel Reverb. A lot of the real-time instances that you see on Laravel Cloud is Laravel Reverb under the hood. So things like making sure when a server is, and I believe even the new Laravel Forge is that. Don't quote me on that if I am wrong. I don't think James talked about this on Monday, so I can't confirm. I believe it is. But all of those instances that you see, at least on Laravel Cloud and probably on Laravel Forge too, they all are Laravel Reverb under the hood. So when you create a new server instance, for example, and maybe I can just pull up my screen really quick. So if I was to, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and hide my screen just to make sure I'm not showing anything too quickly. But let's go to cloud.laravel.com. I'm going to sign in real quick. Let's go ahead and sign in here. Oops, that's not what I want. Sign in, and let's go ahead and say here. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and let's say I have this instance of Laravel Cloud up. This is a fun little demo application that I built in a couple hours to showcase Laravel and Laravel Cloud. It's actually built on Laravel Reverb. But let's go ahead and let's open up my terminal and let's go ahead and say we'll go into my code and we'll go to just this instance of it. And I'm just going to add something to the README, something to just get a new, let's go ahead and actually in the views, in the dashboard page, we'll go ahead and just say something like, we'll say, hi, YouTube here. Perfect. All right. And let's go ahead and commit this. So, yep, I don't know what those other changes were, but we'll just go ahead and add them anyways. Commit. and push this. So as soon as I push that, we should see a new deployment happen within, and there we go. What is happening here? Laravel Reverb. So Laravel Cloud is built on top of Reverb. So anytime that you're doing this, or you're seeing like all of this running, if I was to go into a different environment, come back to this specifically, we have this commit still running. Once it gets to a specific build status, you can see it's building here. Once that is finished building, but then it's deploying, you'll see that status update live. Why? Because Laravel Reverb. So there's so much. This is just one specific instance where you can see Laravel Reverb coming into play, but there is so much that is built on top of Laravel Reverb within the cloud team, for example, and I believe within Forge as well. So even going to deployments and all of these specific things that are happening here, you can see here this is running to be able to be deployed. Yeah. So Reverb, I think, is completely scalable. And it's something that, it just works because it is built by the Laravel team, and it is just a WebSocket standard in the sense that it is I believe it is, and I could be completely wrong on this again. I don't know everything, but I believe it is pusher compatible in the sense that it is built off of that standard. So you don't have to connect to Laravel Reverb instance if you don't need to. It can connect to anything else, but it is built and optimized to connect to a Laravel Reverb server instance. Dan, glad to have you here. Another great office hours today, Josh. I'm really enjoying these. It's a great way to finish off the week here in the UK. Well, I'm glad that you were here, Dan. I really enjoy doing them. One, be able to hang out with the community, be able to chat with you all, but then two, just be able to tell you and hopefully show you that one, I don't know everything, and so being able to hang out with you and kind of show you what we can learn together is great. And then also two, being able to say that there might be some things that all of us don't necessarily know or might not have realized. This is just my chance to be able to say, hey, here's some new things that just came out. Here's some things I'm excited about. And again, hanging out with the community is my favorite part about it. Even if you have Pepsi Maxes like Ashley Hindle. +1 on Dan's comment. I appreciate you all. Hi, my girlfriend break up because I'm using PHP Laravel developer, not Angular Node.js. Well, her loss. So Laravel developers actually ship, and a couple years could have had Lambo, so her loss. I should read comments before I put them up, but that made me laugh, Shaquille. So thank you for that comment. And I apologize if that is completely true. I apologize. Abdularan, hello from Nigeria. Glad to have you here. Kareem, hi, I'm Lanre from Nigeria. Again, I'm sorry for anyone's name I'm mispronouncing. I'm trying my best, and what I imagine your name would be pronounced. But if I say it wrong, let me know and maybe phonetically spell it out for me, and then I will say your name, because I'm glad that you are all here. Twin Falls is about 2 hours southeast of Boise, more south central Idaho. Boise is closer to Oregon. I'm still learning Laravel. Awesome. Glad that you're learning Laravel, James. What is your favorite thing about Laravel so far, and what is something that you don't understand just yet? In the sense of maybe there can be new either video content, or we're working on upcoming courses for the Laravel Learn platform, and I would love to know where your head's at as you're still learning Laravel. But glad to have you here in general, James. Hamlet from Armenia, glad to have you here. And then Elliston, thanks to Laravel. I've been working with this framework for 5 years now, and I really enjoy it. Awesome. Well, glad to have you here. Glad to have you here, Elliston. Yeah, it's been 5 years now. That's crazy. It has been, I'm one of the newcomers to Laravel in a lot of ways, like in the sense that it feels like I have not been here for that long in the sense of building with Laravel, but I have been building with Laravel since 2023, 2022. I believe 2022 was the first year that I started building in Laravel. So yeah, coming up on just over 3 years now, but glad to have you here, Elliston. What's your favorite part of the framework so far? I know for 5 years you said you switched from Postgres to MySQL now. What's been your favorite part of the framework so far? Jason Torres, what is this shenanigans? Josh, 80% Taco Bell, 20% Laravel. That is me. Well, that is what my body consists of. I guess I should say. Most people are consisted of fat, muscle, skeleton, all that kind of thing. This is me. 80% Taco Bell, 20% Laravel. I do have a Baja Blast. If I finish my Coke Zero, I've been chatting way too much, talking way too much. If I finish my Coke Zero, I had a Baja Blast ready to be open, and it says Taco Bell Original right there. I don't know if you can even see it. There we go, Taco Bell Original. Yeah, glad to have you all here. Super excited to be here. Again, those just joining, or if you have been here the whole time, I appreciate you. If you're just joining, this is Laravel Office Hours. It's the chance to be able to answer your questions about maybe any new things coming up on Laravel, any things that you have top of mind. Maybe it's just things about the framework itself. Maybe it's things about new things coming up on Laravel, things that just released, like Laravel VPS, Laravel MCP. Laravel Inertia has a new form component, as well as being able to have a infinite scrolling component. It's fantastic. It's really fun. And if you haven't heard about that, well, now you have. But yeah, this is my opportunity to be able to chat with you, the community, hang out with you, answer your questions, and most importantly, just get to have fun. So if you are still here, please like and subscribe. That allows us to be able to continue creating this kind of content and also reach as many people as we can to be able to talk about Laravel more, and it helps me do my job better in a lot of ways. But I'm so glad everyone is here. It looks like I think I'm fully caught up on the chat right now. So I wanted to dive into a little bit of some of the inertia updates that I was kind of hearing through or seen, and talk about a little bit of the form component and the infinite scroll component, because those are two things that Inertia continues to get improvements from the Inertia team, specifically Pascal and Joe Tannenbaum. And it's one of those things that we don't get the option to talk about too much. Sometimes they might warrant a full video. I know that I'm doing a full video on those next week, or at least one of those two things next week, but being able to chat with you as well. So if you do have questions, wherever you're joining us from, be sure to let me know in the chat as well. Ogoni, hi Josh. Jerry from Canada. Okay, Jerry, it's a lot easier to say your name. So I appreciate you giving me an easier name for me to say. Was it you that printed and read the whole Laravel documentation? That was me. As Jason said, that was Josh, all right. It was during one of my American US holidays that I decided to print it all off. I had to buy a printer. I think I bought like 2 things of printer ink and maybe like 2 reams of paper. I don't know how many pages are in a ream, but it took a lot. And it was out of date probably by the time I printed it. It wasn't really. I printed it the day of so that I could make sure it was at least in date for one day. I did not read everything. I didn't read packages. I didn't read any or any first party packages documentation. And I didn't read any code blocks that were longer than 2 lines of code. So close. Hamlet from LinkedIn, glad to have you here. Almost 6 years I'm developing with Laravel and Vue.js. Thanks for new things. Well, I appreciate you, Hamlet, and thank you so much for joining. What's been your favorite thing in 6 years of developing with Laravel? Like, what's the one thing that kind of stands out? Let me take a drink real quick before we continue. How's everyone's night, morning, or weekend start of their weekend going? I guess if it's in the evening. I know that we had some people that were chatting who it was their 5 p.m., 6 p.m., maybe even later. I know Dan from the UK even mentioned how it's great to be able to finish off the week here in the UK. So how has everything been going for you this Friday afternoon, morning, evening, start of your weekend? How are things going for you? James says, we use a Laravel app at work. I can spin up a basic page and app. The ease of spinning up a page or site is great. I just need to sit down and spend time learning. Awesome. That's great. So you use Laravel at work and you're just learning it. That's awesome. Yeah, I think one of the things, and even so I mentioned it a couple times, but Joe Tannenbaum, who is the engineering lead for open source, or engineering manager, I should say, for open source team, he is at ViteConf, so VITE Conf, the Vite that powers most of the web, including Laravel. ViteConf, he talked about basically how easy it is to get started with Laravel and what Vite is doing within Laravel, for example, including some new fun stuff within Wayfinder. And most people he was mentioning in the Slack that were so excited, I guess, in a lot of ways, to see how easy it was to spin up a Laravel application. Most of these are probably not Laravel developers. A lot of people at this ViteConf are just JavaScript developers in the sense that they usually use full stack JavaScript frameworks or meta frameworks or whatever you might call that. And so this ease of spinning up a basic page and app is absolutely incredible. It's one of the reasons why I started building in Laravel, was because I could build up 80% of what I needed for a SaaS or for any kind of product with just one line of code, being able to say, hey, Laravel new. The power of Laravel new is so incredible. I love that we could chat with you for another hour and I could spin up a whole application. We could build something and it wouldn't take me that long, in the sense of, I think I've done it so many times and Laravel makes things so easy. It's great to be able to do it. Jason, not bad. Have a Discord community thing in an hour. Gotta get some stuff done before I head out to ATO on Sunday. Awesome. Well, glad to have you here, dude. Yeah. Discord community thing in an hour. So I'll be finished with that, and then I'll hang out with you. Actually, I can't. I do have a meeting in an hour, so I cannot. Elliston, for some reason, I feel like Laravel's front end is more suited for admin panels. I mostly use it for building APIs. Front end use external, view, and next step. Okay, that's great. I mean, I think Laravel's suited for kind of everything. So it makes sense that whatever works best for you and your specific use case, that's awesome. And so yeah, external, view, and next step. I know that a lot of people still prefer that. I specifically, like, I can't, ever since I started building within Inertia, the thought of using an external API to do most things, unless I knew that it was going to be like half of a web application and half of a mobile application or something like that, then I probably would do the same thing. But for the most part, almost everything I'm doing is for side projects, for personal projects, is Inertia with a, maybe with like an action pattern so that I can easily use an API, MCP layer, or that kind of thing. Hey, always supporting my buddies and my favorite framework. There you go, folks. You've heard it here. Jason Torres's favorite framework, Laravel. I appreciate you, Jason. Hamlet, thanks for package tenancy. New methods from ORM. This both is my favorite. Awesome. Well, Hamlet, thank you so much. I've not worked with the updated tenancy package. But yes, I think Laravel's ORM, specifically Eloquent in general, being able to kind of share specific resources and talk to a database effortlessly in a lot of ways, is fantastic. One of the things I love about Laravel Boost, for example, if you do not know about Boost, let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. So Boost, for those who are, oops, I don't want that. Let's go to boost.laravel.com. For those who are new to AI-assisted development within Laravel, this is Laravel Boost. Laravel Boost allows you to interact with your application and everything that your application needs so that your AI, your LLM, your AI assistants can be able to help you write Laravel code better. And this all kind of flows into what Hamlet is talking about. Is I think one of the best reasons why Eloquent is so nice is it allows you to, in kind of human words, human language, be able to talk to a database, be able to say and have a readable instance to write SQL language that then can be translated to different database providers. So if I'm writing something for Postgres, for MySQL, for SQLite, 95% of it works across all three of those databases and probably more. But for the most part, there's not going to be anything too crazy. And with Laravel Boost, it makes it even better because Laravel Boost allows you to call eloquent queries, or allows your AI to call eloquent queries in order to then know what your application is actually doing. So the reason why I think eloquent is awesome is because it is awesome, but then Laravel Boost is awesome because it allows you to call eloquent queries so that your application knows, hey, here is how I can did this thing that I tried to seed the database. Did it work? Well, I know because I know how to call the database, and using eloquent within specifically like PHP Artisan Tinker, which is a way to connect to your database through the command line. Now that your AI can do that as well, makes it 10 times easier to build with Laravel. And that all happens because of eloquent. Awesome. Angelo, greetings from Chile. Glad to have you here. For those of you just joining, probably be able to hang out for another 10, 15 minutes or so. I'm so glad to have you here. My name is Josh Cirre. I'm developer relations engineer here at Laravel. And yeah, this is office hours. This is my chance to be able to answer your questions, maybe about Laravel Forge, Laravel VPS, Laravel MCP, maybe new inertia stuff, maybe just anything up and coming within Laravel. Any questions that you might have about Laravel. I can't answer all of them in the sense that I'm going to try my best, but I don't have all the answers. But we get to hang out together, and I get to talk to you, the community, be able to say, hey, here's some of the things I've been thinking about, or I've been learning, I've been working with. So what are you learning, working with, and building? And so as I take another sip of my drink, maybe that's a good question for you all. If you're still here in the chat, if you are still watching, what is the thing that you are currently working on, learning, or building? Currently working on, learning, or building. I'm going to take a sip of my drink, finish off this Coke Zero Cherry, not sponsored, and then we can, I'll share what I am working on, learning, or building. All right, we got a question from Jason. Okay, question: why don't you have all the answers? That's a great idea. Mostly because I am not as smart. And you could tell because of how I stumbled over those words. I'm not as smart as I want to be. Maybe someday I will be smart, and when that day comes, maybe I will have all the answers. But maybe I'll have less answers. The more smart I get, usually the less answers I have. That was terrible grammar, but yes, the more smart I get, the less answers I have. Jason says, I'm converting an app I did in Next.js to Laravel to my live resume review app we use on streams. Fantastic. That was one of my favorite things to do. I have a couple of videos up on my personal channel about converting a Next.js app to Laravel, and specifically within Livewire and Livewire Volt, mostly because I think the DX tendencies between both of them are really similar. And so it was my opportunity to be able to showcase people side by side of like, hey, here's how you would call a server action within Next.js, and you talk to a database. That's a Livewire method in Laravel. Like the syntax is different, but the DX, for the most part, is really similar. The only thing that kind of changes within that, and kind of within all of Laravel front end options currently, that is different between Next.js, is you still do have to have JavaScript. You cannot turn off JavaScript. If you turn off JavaScript in a Next.js application, for most things, not everything, but for most things, like if you have a web form that hits a server action, for most things, it still works. If you are using the standards set by Next.js. Within Laravel, it's not going to work because it needs JavaScript to be able to connect to the server. There is not a standard HTML form. There is ways of doing that within Laravel. You can use HTMX within Laravel. You can use Alpine Ajax within Laravel that will then default to standard form requests and servers. But for the most part, who doesn't have JavaScript turned on in their application? Yeah. Again, if you're joining, I'll be able to hang out for another couple minutes or so, but before we wrap up, if you don't have any more questions, if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm always willing to chat and talk about them together. But if you don't have questions, what are you currently working on, building, or learning today, this afternoon, this week, maybe this weekend? What are the things that you're going to do? I will say I am currently working on. We just launched a couple of weeks ago. I'll go ahead and share my screen again. We just launched the Laravel Learn platform. So it is, and I'll go ahead and maybe like browse out here for a little bit. It is 2 video courses that we started with, the Getting Started with Laravel course, as well as the PHP Fundamentals course. And a couple of weeks ago, we launched these courses. So what I've been working on currently outside of the Forge stuff and being able to hang out with you, I guess I get the privilege of being able to call this my work. What I'm currently working on is what's next for Laravel Learn. And so I think we have a couple of different options. One, we have Eloquent and databases. That would be a great Laravel Learn course of like, hey, here's a quick 10-minute, not 10 minute, 10 episode micro course overview. 2 mini video courses we already have. So if we did another mini video course, here's another bite-sized lesson with real-world projects of what it means to interact with a database using Eloquent and just databases in general. Also, we have the option of doing probably like controllers, I guess, controllers, actions, that kind of server method. So we kind of have some different options for what the next mini course would be on Laravel Learn. If you have opinions, let us know. What should be the next mini course on Laravel Learn? Preferably something that is approachable for all learning levels, that kind of fits along in a progressional path from getting started, the first application you build, as well as PHP fundamentals. What would be the next step in your mind? So that is one thing that I'm working on, that I am. And then one thing I am learning is I am learning how to build a Vite plugin. So there's a lot of things I love within Inertia. There's a lot of things I love within Livewire. And I'm learning what kind of, what those things entail. So a lot of the functionality within working with a development server and making things great usually starts with Vite, being able to say, hey, once a new file is created, why don't we stub and create new stubs for that file and maybe spin up a couple other things because this new file was created. I'm just working on some personal things that would be awesome to be able to say, hey, here's a little Vite plugin that you can kind of have run and just kind of keep going. That's what Wayfinder is doing currently, in the sense of, and in the future what will be happening is a Vite plugin for Wayfinder. So when you create a new file, it automatically scans that file for any types that you have. And so Vite plugins just in general fascinate me. And so that's what I am currently learning. So again, thank you so much for joining this office hours. If you are still here or just joining, this is for you to answer or ask any questions that you might have, be able to chat about things coming up on Laravel, things that just released as well. If you don't have any questions or you're just here to chat and hang out, I love it. I appreciate it. It's one of my favorite parts of my day. But let me know what you're working on, what you're building, what you're learning as well. So glad to have you all here. Elliston, do Laravel Forge and Laravel Cloud make things easier by removing the need to configure the server manually? I've kind of gotten used to digging into Ubuntu and setting up Nginx, Redis, and other. Yes and yes. And I would say if you've gotten used to digging into Ubuntu, setting up Nginx, Redis, and other, then Laravel Forge is probably the best option for you. Laravel Cloud obfuscates that even more. So Laravel Cloud is going to be more managed in the sense of you can spin up a database instance. You can spin up a new app server, in the sense that it is a app instance that you can say, okay, I want to scale to this number of instances. I want to scale to this specific size, for example. And so Laravel Cloud is going to be from a broader standpoint of saying, okay, it's not just one server. It is a bunch of different pieces that I can put together and weave together within Laravel Cloud that makes it scalable, that I don't have to manage. But Laravel Forge is going to do all the things that you just mentioned. Instead of having to dig into Ubuntu, set up Nginx, Redis, and everything else, Laravel Forge, within any option, not just Laravel VPS, but if you have a server provider already connected within DigitalOcean, Hetzner, AWS, Laravel Forge is essentially enables all of those presets that you would need for most typical applications, specifically Laravel, for example, but a bunch of other options as well. Laravel Forge then spins everything up for you so that when you create a new site, let's say when I create a new site within my Laravel VPS instance, then I have everything that I need. Why don't I actually go ahead and deploy a site to Laravel VPS, and I'll show you just how quick it is and what it's kind of all doing under the hood. So let's go ahead and let's say I have Laravel Forge up right here. We're going to create a new Laravel VPS instance. Again, this is everything that I'm showing in terms of like what it creates, what it obfuscates for you, setting up all of these server things that you don't, maybe you've enjoyed setting up, that's great. But if there's things that you have, Elliston, that you're like, hey, I don't want to do this for every single project, or maybe just a little side project or a client work, that's where Laravel Forge can come into play. So for example, I'm going to set up this specific region, the app server, and this is where you kind of have that option to say, okay, what is it automatically including everything here? So app server is basically everything all at once, where web server is just going to be specific for HTTP requests. And so that's only going to spin up like an Nginx instance as well. But then you have different types that you could basically presets for the server that you are provisioning. You do have advanced settings to say, okay, what server operating system for Laravel VPS instance? We only have Ubuntu set up, as well as specific PHP or database types. And then we'll go ahead and create that server. Then once it's specifically created, we're going to, and you can see here it was already provisioned, it's ready to go, so I can spin up a new site. And so here's where we have the ability to then say, okay, what is going to be installed onto this server? So Laravel application, Static Symfony, everything was already installed in the sense that we have, okay, an app server with a database of MySQL, PHP, and Ubuntu. Everything Nginx is going to then be installed when you create a new site, depending on what specific application you actually need. Again, we have options for Next.js, Nuxt.js, just static HTML, or if you wanted to actually customize it and say what you wanted as well. But if I have a PHP application and I have this particular Chirper application as well, it's as simple as then creating the site, which is then going to configure Nginx because it knows it's a Laravel application. It knows everything that it needs to build in order to get this site, your GitHub repo, my GitHub repo, configured on this Laravel VPS. I imagine this is going to take probably like 10-ish seconds, and then we have to deploy the application to make sure that npm run build was installed, and actually we can do that within the terminal instance. But this is essentially Laravel Forge, I would say, is at a lower level than Laravel Cloud. Laravel Cloud, you don't necessarily have this kind of options. It's more of like a, hey, just give me everything, and here's my GitHub repo, and let's scale it to infinity. Where Laravel Forge is going to be more on the side of, okay, I want this specific server with this specific operating system with this specific database. And then I want to be able to SSH into that. Laravel Cloud doesn't have the ability to SSH currently in terms of like what you might be needing to do. It is a scalable web of instances that you might need. And so now I'm going to launch the terminal for this particular application. And we don't have npm run build installed on the initial deploy command. So just to do that quickly, I can run npm run build. We need to do npm install first, and then we can run npm run build. Plop this open right here. All right, and then we can npm run build. And then we should be good to go to be able to access our site. So if I click visit, there we go. There's our Chirper application up running. So that took like 2-3-ish minutes to get something set up within VPS. Again, that is, it's quicker on VPS. Why? Because we have the ability with our partner through DigitalOcean to be able to spin up those instances rather quickly and then configure everything we might need specifically within that site configuration as well. But now everything's up and running for me and I'm good to go. I'm going to delete this server because you all saw the credentials And I know what people on the internet can do with credentials like this, even though this is not a huge, uh, it's not like I have a full application on that right there as well. But I don't trust people on the internet, even though you folks are all great. This was live for me as well. But yeah, and JS here too. Yeah, so you can it's your own server that you provision within Laravel VPS, or again, a server provider that you might hook up, DigitalOcean, AWS. It is your own server to do with as you please. You can install anything. We have those presets like Nuxt.js and Next.js and Laravel and Symfony and all those, the WordPress and all those things. And that's mostly just so that it configures Nginx, configures all the build steps for you so that you don't have to worry about that, configures composer install, that kind of thing. But if you just want to use a Laravel VPS and run something within Docker, go for it. There's nothing stopping you. I do actually have within my personal streaming setup, I have a Docker application that is basically like a Restream, an open source version of a Restream to stream to different platforms. And that's just running on a Forge provisioned server. Jason says, I wouldn't trust us. Yes, I appreciate all you who have been here in the chat for the past hour and a half. And it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust the internet. So I appreciate you all. Mohit, hi everyone. Glad to have you here, Mohit. We are at 1 hour and 30 minutes. So I'm probably going to be starting to wrap it up. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. If you do have any last questions, I'll give it another 5 minutes before I call it. Let me open up this Mountain Dew Baja Blast, zero sugar, not sponsored. But I've been so glad to be able to hang out with you all today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are from or joining. It's been awesome to be able to have these office hours to chat with you, answer your questions, talk through Laravel Forge, Laravel VPS, MCPs, inertia updates, Veth. There's so many cool things that we got to talk about. But that's the win for me, is be able to hang out with the community, to talk to you about things that I enjoy talking about, chatting with you, but then also just being able to hang out. And if you're still here and you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. It helps me, helps us, helps our team to know, are we on the right track? But then also, what can we do better and how can we reach more people as well? But if you have any questions before I sign off, feel free to drop them in the chat. If not, what are you planning on doing this weekend? That's my question for us before we leave. What are the plans that you have for this weekend? And then what kind of fun are you going to be getting into this weekend as well? For those of us in the States, I think we have a 3-day weekend. I never am too sure nowadays. My kids are not in school just yet. They're still young. So I don't necessarily know when holidays are. I just work when I'm work. But Ellison, nice, good for fast deploying config projects back and front end side. Thanks for showing. Awesome. Glad that you got to see that, Ellison. But yeah, it's great to be able to say, hey, here's a server instance that I need, and then what can I do with this? And that's what I think that's the benefit of Forge, being able to not have to think about the 80% of things that you don't necessarily want to manage, while still having that 20% of configuration in your hands. Hi, I don't know if correct, but on Laravel Forge don't have a mobile response. That is correct. James talked about that. James, the engineering team lead for Laravel Forge and Laravel Core Services. On Monday, we had a Reddit AMA live streamed here on this channel. You probably can find it in the live page here on youtube.com/@LaravelPHP. But in that live stream, James talked about how it is definitely a priority. It's not necessarily top of mind for the Laravel team because there's a lot that goes into making Laravel Forge responsive on mobile, but it is something that the team is working on, in the sense that they want to have that be something that is doable within Laravel Forge for mobile. But yeah, it is not currently mobile responsive. It'd be tough to. There's a lot of smaller things that they need to think through, of like, okay, what should be doable? You don't necessarily want to click a button and not have the option to see, are you actually deleting this, or just deactivating or removing it, whatever that might be. So there's some things that the design team as well as the team itself need to think through before it becomes mobile responsive as well. I want a Laravel t-shirt or hat or drink. Well, I have good news for you. I'm not meaning to to shill or anything like that. But if you go to shop.laravel.com, I do not get commission on this. So this is not me saying it because I get commission, but shop.laravel.com has all of our swag in order to that you can buy to ship to you. So we have some stickers, we have some t-shirts, we have a baby onesie. I have a baby, my third kid coming in February, so I'm probably going to get one of these baby onesies because it's fun. It's a Laravel new baby onesie. It's incredible, right? Some t-shirts, some hats. I have a hat up here, a facade hat up here that I have. I have this. Let's see if you can see behind me. I have this PHP hat that you can get on the shop as well. Actually, look at it. Let me share my screen real quick because this is funny. But if you look on the shop here, this is that picture right here. You can't see it when I hover it, but that picture, that's me. That's his office. Can you tell tell a resemblance? There we go. I can put it on my resume. I am a professional model, just like I always wanted to be. But yeah, that has some great swag, and I think there's probably going to be more added soon. I would imagine. But yeah, I love so much of that swag as well. So shop.laravel.com. Well then, at least say please, my guy. Please, if you can, like and subscribe. It helps us out, helps the team out. John, I'm wearing my cool black on black Laravel hat right now. Where is my black on black? There's this one. This one's my black on black one. It's hard to tell, but mostly just because of my studio light. But that is my black on black one. I have so many awesome swag from Laravel. Got the little Lambo over there. I have my facade hat up on the dresser. It's a little hard to see from this angle. Yeah, definitely check it out. Wow, Josh Zoolander. Yeah, I am model. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for hanging out, for chatting, for asking questions, for hanging out with me. It's been a blast for me, and hopefully it's been fun for you as well. I'm going to say that we can call it right there. Some upcoming things. So on the Laravel channel, there is going to be upcoming videos, of course. So we try to do at least a couple of videos every other week, or we're trying to ramp that up, especially now that Laravel Forge has been launched. We did the Laravel Learn stream as our Laravel Learn launch as well. So definitely be able to check the YouTube channel. There's some lives for Laravel Worldwide that are already scheduled out and ready to go. So be able to check that. Watch for the blog as well for content. So blog.laravel.com or laravel.com/blog. Both of them will get you to the same place. But that's a great option to be able to see new content and new things that are coming out from the Laravel team. And then I'm excited because in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start working on the next Laravel Learn mini course. And so I'm excited to be able to get to show you all and kind of work with you all in public, being able to build that together. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, for being here. Be sure to, if you will, please like and subscribe. That helps us out, being able to say, here's where we're going with content, and also here's what we can do better in a lot of ways too. And it helps us reach as many people as possible for Laravel, for PHP. Thank you all, and hopefully you have a fantastic weekend. I appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, go and ship some things.